I put my trust in you, and I trust in our love. I put my trust in you, I put my trust in love. I put my trust in you, and I trust in our love. I put my trust in you, I put my trust in love.
Hello, friends. My name is Dane Miller.
And I'm Niall Spain. We are your fuck buddies.
We're a dating and sex advice podcast where we take your sticky sex situations and turn them into sexy sticky situations.
Nailed it. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Get who's back today.
Winter is officially over.
Is it?
Yep. I mean,
Fuck yeah.
officially. I don't know. We might get more fucking snow.
We probably will. You're forgetting about third winter.
Yes. But like in terms of the calendar, spring has a sprung.
Yeah, boy.
You know what that means?
I'm going to get
spring fever.
dirty.
That means time for all kinds of
Baby making.
Yeah, get going.
Make a baby right now. Just make one. Just fashion one.
Yeah.
See those fresh lambs out in the fields? Ooh. Go cook one.
I was going to say, are you making babies out of the lamb?
Yeah, no, they're already babies.
They are already babies.
Cute spring babies. All fluffy and
There's rabbits
bright-eyed.
hopping around.
Yep.
There's birds tweeting.
Mm-hmm. And as we know, nothing gets you hornier than Twitter.
It's true.
Well, that was our topical intro.
Yep.
Now we're gonna...
I'm just really excited because I have like my windows open, and it's just.
I've never
nice.
closed my windows.
It's so nice. I feel like I don't have to wear my big winter coat again.
I put mine away last week, and it's been fucking great.
I haven't. I've been wearing it just out of protest, being like, I'm not wearing anything else until it's nice.
I fucking hate that thing so much. It's my one, not yours. Yours is quite nice. Mine is nice too. It's just like when I sit in the subway, it like overflows onto the next seat. So it's like it either looks like I'm being an asshole and taking up space, or I just can't sit down, or I just like smother some old granny.
No, I'm the same way. Where it's just such a big coat that I'm just like, I feel like just a shapeless blob. I've been working out. I want people to see my shapes.
You're a shapeless blob. I'm sorry. You're a Ditto. If you were a Pokemon.
Oh, I fucking wish I was a Ditto. Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I could just take the shape of people. Although I would always have my face, so that kind of like defeats the purpose.
They don't always have a Ditto face.
That's the whole point of Ditto.
Not in Pokemon Go.
They have the little dots.
Not in
the
Pokemon
little
Go.
dot eyes in the straight line.
No.
Well, that's bullshit.
I know. It would make catching them a lot easier. Well, let's go. You ready? You want to start us off? Will I start us off?
You start us off.
Sure. This is from Dating Advice on Reddit. And this is umox88101 who asks, does anybody actually enjoy dating? It's such a shitty process for both genders. Girls have to always double think whether a guy is actually into them or just wants sex, and most guys have a hard time even getting any dates or interest. Girls get too much interest, yelling. Guys get too little interest, also yelling. And that's their sad question.
Man,
Did you actually enjoy dating, Dane?
Yeah.
No, but like actually in capitals.
Man.
This kind of question makes me really sad because like dating's fucking great.
Yeah, I think it's like, I think this is the sort of problem with modern dating is people go into it with the mindset that it's terrible. You know what I mean? Like, if you wake up and you're like, oh, today's going to be shit.
Yeah.
I promise you your day's probably going to be shit.
Or if it is good, like, it would have to be like, it has to be so good to be just good then.
Yeah.
You know?
It's the same thing that, like, when people go out to, like, pick up, and then when they don't, they go home and they're like, today was shit, or tonight was shit. It's like, well, it could have been a great night out if you were just focusing on, like, having a good time and, like, having fun with people that you like. Yeah,
and also, like, dating is kind of what you make of it. Like, not everybody's dating experiences. Where the fuck did that come from?
Hey, don't worry about it.
Like, not everyone's dating is the same, you know? Like, people want different things, people meet different people. But, like, if you're generally fucking miserable about it, yeah, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, and if you treat it as if it's like a step-by-step process of, like, meet someone, talk to them for, like, 2 weeks, go on a date with them, date them for, like, 1 to 3 weeks, like, become exclusive. Like, of course that's going to be fucking shit for you. Like, if you do that about anything, like, if you live your life in sort of like a procedural, like, by the books, by the rule paint by numbers experience, it's gonna suck. And like I'm sure there are some people who really do enjoy that kind of routine, but like some things are an organic fashion, like just naturally. The dating and human experience is something that you can't formalize.
It's also
is that a worm?
Yeah. So you're assuming that that's what they do? Probably.
You know what I mean? Or they have a very specific expectation.
Yeah.
And anytime that isn't met,
it's
dating is the worst.
Thing. It's like dating is.
How many times are you going to karate chop this
I
face?
fucking hate it so much already. My finger hurts. Yeah, like even like every date I've been on has been different. Every person I've met has been different.
Yeah.
Every like era of me being single, like even when like month to month, you can have a great month. You can have like a dry month. You can have like. Remember that time I just kept bumping into virgins? Like things can like happen, and it's like
it was like my tall girl phase.
Exactly.
Where, like the only people who would give me any interest were women who are like a foot taller than me.
Exactly. So like I can't go and be like, oh, everyone's virgins, and you can't be like everybody's tall. But at the time, sure, maybe they were. So like blanket statements like this, they suck unless you're the problem.
Yeah,
because like it can't just be like every single time anything happened that's completely out of your control. Like, you're probably doing something wrong in the situation if you hate it so much.
It's kind of like the fuckboy sort of thing where like if these are the only people that you are coming across, the common denominator here is you.
Yeah.
And it's probably indicative of the pool in which you're like fishing in. Like if you're constantly meeting the same kind of people who are treating you the same way, and they have the same sort of outlook on life, it's like maybe it's time to grow up and like sort of evolve out of that
100%.
Whatever it is, whether it's your social circle or your, you know what I mean, whatever, or just come to terms with it and be like, this is what I like. This is actually what I'm looking for, and I want to be dramatic about it.
Yeah.
Because like there are some people who want that. You know what I mean? True. They want that sort of like drama in their life, and that's fine if that's your fucking thing. One, don't drag other people into it. Two, don't drag people down with you. Like if a guy is being genuine, don't try to like fit him into that fuckboy. You know what I mean? Like persona, and it's frustrating.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people actually enjoy dating. It's the best.
Yeah, I mean,
or like not the best, but it's like the best in terms of like so many things are the best. It can be so great, and like it's such a cool time to meet new people and do new things, and like it's also like you don't have a partner necessarily, obviously, because you're dating.
Yeah.
So it's a time where you kind of grow a lot as a person.
That's
I
what
feel.
I was gonna say. Like yeah, dating is a great time to evolve as a person.
Yeah, and you have so much more time to do things. Like even when you're not going on dates, it makes me so sad when people hate dating, and like so many people do. Like the comments are just like, it's the worst. I hate it. It's the worst. And it's like, you need to fix your shit.
Yeah. And like, yeah, there are aspects of dating that suck. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like online dating is pretty fucking rough. Getting ghosted, all that bullshit
Even
sucks.
like when you meet someone and then it turns out to like not be good, or like you thought something of someone, or like they're mean to you, or like you go through a dry period where like nobody seems to want to give a shit about you, and you're like, oh, cool, I'm just undesirable me. I'm gonna be over here being lonely. Like, I'm not saying it's always good, but nothing is.
Yeah.
You know, and if you think that it should be, you're dumb, because literally nothing in the world is always good, apart from dogs.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sometimes they're bold boys. Sometimes they're bold boys.
Bold?
Bold. Like naughty.
Oh.
Naughty boys.
Yeah, but they're still good boys.
They pee on the couch. Naughty boy.
But they're so sweet.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, so I don't know. I think it's a mindset thing.
It 100% is.
Ooh, you got all side Mikey on me there.
It's one of those things. Yeah, it's your perspective. You know what I mean? Like if you will find, I don't necessarily believe in sort of like manifestation, but like if you have the perspective that like you're gonna have a good day, or like try to have a good day. My boxing instructor says something every class, and she says, I hope you guys have had a great day, and if you haven't, I hope it gets better from here. And it's like, it's such a good reminder, and it's something like really, really simple that like a day can change at any point in time. Or any situation can change at any point in time, and your perspective has a big part of that, but it also has like you can actively do something to change things.
Well, like last Monday was such a fucking terrible day until 5 o'clock for me. I had a terrible, fucking awful day. And then 5 o'clock hit, and I was like, I had the fucking best day. I had such a good day. Like, everything turned out. We all went out for, like, mussels and beers, and, like, there was such a good crew there. And then we went and had a really good night playing Pathfinder, and, like, everything was great. And it being, like, the best day.
Yeah.
But before that, it fucking sucked balls.
But, like, imagine if you just, like, didn't let yourself enjoy the rest of the night because
exactly.
the first half of the day was shit. And I think that is a big point of, like, why people don't like dating. It's like they've had XY number of fucking
shitty dates
or shitting experiences. Dating, I know, it's shitting experiences.
Well, that'll ruin dating for anybody.
I mean, yeah,
unless you're into it.
Maybe you're into it.
Maybe you don't have enough shitting experiences. Never think about that.
Never think about that.
Did you? Did you?
Am I thinking about it all the time?
I'm talking to our listeners.
Oh, you mean our users? It's just fucking relax and process things in individual things and understand that like not everything has to be correlated together.
And like by no point saying that parts of dating or like you're gonna have a shit time at some point, if not at multiple points. But like by realizing that dating isn't meant to be perfect, that's how you get past those shit times. Yeah, because it's expected. It's life, that just happens. But it's not like, well, I had a bad time. Dating's meant to be amazing, therefore it must just be terrible. No, like you'll have ups and downs, but it's up to you to kind of like make the best out of it. You know what I mean? Like meet people and like grow and just fucking like have fun, get out there. At the very worst, you'll probably have some really funny stories. I know, which we want to hear.
Yeah. I want to cycle back to shitting experiences. And hit you with my next question.
Oh, no. I have so many tie-in questions to this, actually. But not the shitting, so way to derail the tie-in train. Go.
This is from Agent Lifeline, because I am obsessed with Apex Legends right now.
It's the best.
They ask, or he asks...
Whoa.
Well, I know. I work for a fairly large company in a massive office building. At my company Christmas party, I got chatting to a girl and really hit it off. I was an idiot and got really drunk that night, never got a chance to ask her for her number. However, we recently crossed paths and got her number, and we've been texting for a few weeks before I asked her out. We have a date planned this weekend, but this afternoon at work, I forgot to lock the bathroom door during my after-lunch poop. And she walked in.
This is so juicy.
Do I still have a date? Do I pretend like it didn't happen? Did she see me? How do I recover from this?
This is great. This is so gold. I wish we had that fizzy sound effect, because this is a fizzy question.
It's a fizzy question.
I think I need to know like what the reaction was. Like, were you just like was the person like just bare leaning back like boom, or were they like, they'll lean forward, kind of like waiting, like how entrenched are they? Also, who doesn't lock the door? Come on.
I know.
That's a basic part of living.
I know.
You wanted this to happen, you little poop pervert. I know you want this to happen.
You secretly wanted her to see you.
Yeah.
Maybe not her specifically, but someone.
Yeah. And that's okay, I guess. No, don't bring people into your
it's
poop
Ooh, you are popping your peas. I shouldn't have given you so many poop.
Don't bring people into your poop parade. Poop parade? There we go. Can I say it from here? Poop parade.
You're still popping your peas.
Pop, pop, pop. I don't know. I'm getting too excited by this question. I'm not in a raunchy way.
I mean, I honestly don't know.
Can you bring me through the questions at the end? From the last one back up.
How do I recover from this?
Okay. You need to turn it on its head. You need to be like, well, you've seen me shitting, so...
Then he's, yes. Do I just pretend like it didn't happen?
I don't think so. I think you call it out. I think you say like, well, that was a awkward lunch surprise for both of us.
And then he asks, do I still have a date?
Well, wasn't there a did she see me?
Skip
that one. Yeah, I'm imagining so, unless you're fucking invisible.
Well, here's the thing.
Do you have like Spider-Man powers of like zoop?
I don't know if I don't know, like, if you walk in and you just sort of like see someone, I don't know if it was one of those things. You know what I mean? They didn't get a good look.
I will say, all joking aside, if I walk into a bathroom and like the second I even sense or realize there's another being, I'm instantly like, "Ooh," like turning away, shutting the door. Like, half the time it could be my fucking like best friend, and I wouldn't realize till they walked out red faced. 7 minutes later.
That's the thing is, if you don't mention it, she didn't know it was you. If she just thought she walked in on some random fucking guy.
That's true.
Then whatever. But if she did know it was you,
he knows it was her.
Uh-huh.
So he must have gotten at least a face full of her. Which leads me to believe it wasn't a dip open and close the door.
Yeah, true.
It must have been a like but
it's also one of those things where like if he doesn't have to avert his gaze, you know what I mean? Like he's not seeing anything he shouldn't.
Yeah.
She is. So if she saw sort of like,
wow, we're not allowed to see people poo nowadays.
The knees or the pants around the ankles, and she was like, "Oh, sorry."
Yeah. So
he doesn't have to avert his gaze from her.
True. The only thing is, you've nothing to lose by admitting it was you, unless you were dropping like the worst shit. Like if the smell and the experience of being in there for just like that 1 second was so traumatic that you don't want her to know, then sure. Other than that, like, there's nothing wrong with you pooing. That happens to most people.
Yeah, but it is a bit of a damper for a first date.
No, I think it's an icebreaker.
Maybe.
I
think it might be also a hurdle. Because, here's the thing. Anytime you're like, oh, I'm just going to run to the washroom.
Then she gets to go like, you going to lock it?
You know what the fucking flashback moment for that is going to be?
Yeah, I think you gotta bring it up. And you gotta laugh about it. Because again, there's probably nothing traumatic about it. Like, there's not like, oh, you are the guy pooping. What is going on?
Stop exhaling when you say the P. Pooping.
I'm not an actor. I have a dream.
Well, you are a podcaster, so you have to fucking learn this.
I had a dream that I was a lead in like a CW teen show the other day. And it was really funny because they forgot to pay me, apparently, and I didn't realize. They were just like, here's $35,000. And I was like, oh, boy.
That's
one day...
dirt cheap.
I know.
To be a lead.
Well, they
a TV show.
One, I wasn't the lead.
I
was one of the main people, Like, I was still one of the, like, top 6. And I was more of, like, Archie's friend with the homelessness than...
Jughead?
That's the one.
He's also...
I was more like that than I was Archie.
I would imagine he's probably paid one of the top paid.
Maybe now.
No.
At the start, even?
Yeah.
Whatever. Either way, I had been getting paid, which is why I didn't realize it. But then I got the $35,000, and I woke up being like, one day I might actually be able to buy property. And I realized there was real life again, and it sucked.
Man, I wish you could pay. I mean, I guess if you were just Niall Spain, like if you weren't like already an established actor.
I am just Niall Spain.
Yeah, I guess.
But also, I'd gotten a shit ton of other money, which is why I didn't like realize. It could have just been like $35,000 for like one episode. I don't know.
Okay. That's a better deal.
They were basically like, oh, a BT Dubs forgot this, and I was like, yay! And I woke up and was sad. I think that was also Monday. Maybe that's why Monday morning sucked so much.
Yeah.
But in the dream, I was also really confused as to how I was suddenly an actor. I was like, I don't remember. Okay. I just went with it. I was okay with that.
They are rebooting Pretty Little Liars. Are they making like a new season or series or something?
And I can lie.
You're always lying.
I just gotta.
You just lied about being pretty.
Oh no, that was good. Right. So back to the question.
What the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah, this might be our biggest trip to Tangent City.
It might be.
Do you still have a date? You got fucking ask her.
I think it's one of those things where like
you
do have to. I think you're right. I think it's an icebreaker. I think it's one of those things where you're gonna like hopefully in like 4 years we'll joke about it. Be like your first meeting.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I feel like if she gets weird about it, then that kind of tells you all you need to know about her.
Yeah,
I
and
don't
like
really
also
feel like walking in on somebody pooping again, unless you're dropping just like fucking horrible.
But here's the thing: it's like
harrowing.
There's a good chance that you're gonna do something equally fucking weird. You know what I mean? Like there's like pooping is a natural thing. It's like at some point in time you're gonna fart in front of her. You know what I mean?
Or
it's
on
like,
her.
or on her, or
If you're
gonna,
doing that danger fart while cuddling.
it's one of those things where it's just like something at some point in time is going to happen, and like I understand it's the tightrope is a little thinner at the beginning
But
because like you've got nothing to sort of like be like, hey, remember the good times?
But if you guys just like laugh about it and move on, I feel like this is going to be a really good indication that she's really cool.
Yeah.
Also, you have just such possibility for puns. If she works, you just be like, hey, later, do you want to like shit down and talk about our... Oh, sorry.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, let's shit down and talk about our date. Let's get locked on our date, unlike that door.
That's a stretch, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, own it.
Nothing comes from being shy and weird about
You know
it.
what? Just stop locking the door and just be the guy.
Yeah, be that.
doesn't-
That could be your thing.
Yeah.
Get a wedge, prop
It's like,
it open.
whoa, don't go in there. I'm pretty sure I saw Steve go in there.
Yeah.
So
Whoa, new girl's getting Steved. Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. And everyone can do like, have a little chant like, you got Steved. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe like put a
my
whiteboard on the
God.
door.
Maybe that's what where playing Stevesies comes from.
That was blowing the
Playing someone's butt like a
ass.
tuba.
Yeah,
Oh my God. Hashtag throwback.
we did it. All right, hit me with another.
All right. This is from a Vampire Gross. 25-year-old, virgin, female. Turn off? I'm 25 and still a virgin, technically. It was never
She's read the Kama Sutra.
It was never a religious thing, just wanted to wait for the right person. I've had opportunities since I was 18-ish, but I've never had a serious relationship in my life. Despite this, I consider myself very sexual. I think about sex often and masturbate about 3 to 5 times a week. I doubt I'll bleed the first time since I've used toys on myself, just might not be that good at it. Anyway, for guys mostly, is a 25-year-old virgin a turn-off? How would you react to a date telling you she's a virgin still, but isn't waiting for marriage?
This is tough because like I want to give the advice that like it's not a big deal, but like I think I would freak out a little bit as a like I would be concerned because like the first time I had sex was with someone who had already had sex, so like I have never been a part of the taking quote unquote of virginity.
Really?
No.
Oh.
I've only ever slept with people who had previously slept with other people. I've never been a part of that experience. So like I think that would be a little nerve-wracking for me, and not like oh, you're a weirdo, you're a virgin.
No,
it would be more like I think now, like if I did it now, I would be a lot more comfortable, just because like I'm a little more experienced.
You're older,
I
you're
know-
wiser, you have a
Yeah.
sex and dating podcast, so...
That's the thing. But like I think for sort of like the average Joe, I don't know if it'd be a turnoff, but I do think it would be something that you kind of have to take the reins on and take control of and be like, hey, this is it. Let's just work through this together. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, you just kind of got to flip it on the head and be like, if someone came to you and was like, hey, I'm a virgin, I'm really nervous. And like, walk them through it.
Yeah, I think... So, back to my time where I literally like bumped into... I think I was dating like 4 people at once, and they all turned out to be virgins. And it was like this kind of situation where a few people had told me that. It wasn't a turnoff at all, but what it was more of a big deal than normal, right? It wasn't like, you know, you had to, or at least I felt like you had to think about that, because whether or not it's a good thing, people do kind of think of virginity as being like quite a big deal. So for me, I was always trying to be very conscious of like their feelings in this, and trying to figure out whether or not what they were saying was like true. Like if they're like, no, it's cool, like if we just like casually have sex, like I will be okay, and I'm not expecting a relationship necessarily, and like blah 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 blah. And there were times where I didn't actually sleep with the person because I didn't actually believe that them. Whether or not that was true or not is a different thing. But like I didn't want to hurt anybody, so that was a big concern for me. And I think unless someone's an asshole, that's pretty much the only thing they're gonna feel is like, you know, if you're in a like a long-term committed relationship, sure, whatever. I don't think it's really an issue then. But if it's somewhat more casual, I think somebody might be worried about upsetting you or like you getting the wrong idea from it, right?
Yeah, there is a certain gravity to the
And,
situation.
like no one wants to be that asshole who took your virginity, right? Like I don't think anyone wants you 2 years down the line or 10 years being like, oh, the first person who would text me, they just like fucked off, and you know, and because it's so serious to do it in a casual, or at least because some people take it quite seriously or see it in such a serious light, it can be a little nerve-wracking as the guy to be responsible for that. And then like if it's not serious, you have this casual situation, you don't know if 3 weeks down the line like you guys are still going to be a thing, and if you are, sure, but even then, what if you break up? You know, for me, I never wanted to like ruin it for anybody if they weren't, like, you know what I mean, like mislead anyone. Just make sure everyone was on the same page.
I think it would have to be like, it's interesting this coming from the woman's side of things, because usually it's like a guy being like, oh, should I do it? I think you have to be very clear about your expectations of your loss of virginity, because again, there are people who take it very, very seriously and put a lot of weight on it, and I think that's kind of like, it's in the process of shifting right now, where people are sort of being like, virginity isn't really a thing. Like
but we're still in there.
We are. But there is sort of like a little bit more conversation about it now, which is good.
Yeah.
But there still is sort of like a social construct of this sort of like really important thing that like virginity for both genders, or for all genders, I should say, there's like this weight to it. So like I think it's important on a case to case, like individual to individual situation, where you're just like, hey, I've been waiting because this is the reason why I've been waiting, or this is the reason why I haven't lost it, and this is kind of like
you don't
my
even need to explain yourself.
Yeah, or like at least let them know like your expectations. You know what I mean? Because like some
that
people who
I
are
do
like,
think you do.
Some people who are like, I want to lose it to someone that I'm in love with, and if you're like in a casual relationship, that might be enough for a guy to be like, hey man, like I'm sorry, but like that's not me. Yeah. Like I'm sorry, but I'm gonna take a pass on that, because if you want it to be that special, or if you have that expectation of sort of a momentous kind of moment for you in your life, I'm not gonna take that from you, and I'm not gonna cheapen that.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was talking about. Where my reservations were because I wanted to know what other people's. It's like, it's funny where like you almost have to take the lead, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
In terms of explaining, I don't think you ever have to explain why you haven't had sex. If you want to, go for it. Yeah. But you do have to explain what you are looking for and what you're okay with. Like, if you do want something serious, or you do expect a relationship afterwards, or you do, again, want this meaning and this kind of like gravitas around it and all that, I do think it's very fair to say that. And if you're okay with like the casualness and the fact that, as I think most dating should be, like it could go somewhere, it could not, but it's not dependent on this act. This is its own thing. Yeah. If that's the case, I do think you really need to be clear about that.
Yeah, and then I think like during the act of it, communication, and like good sex is always dependent on communication, but I think now more than ever, because I think there is like, we've been socialized and we're taught, like especially guys, we're told it's gonna hurt them, it's gonna, you know what I mean, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen, this is gonna happen. It's like most guys don't want to inflict that, you know what I mean? Like no guy, I mean, I'm trying to like be very careful about generalizations here, but like again, a lot of people probably aren't really looking forward to cause you pain.
And also it doesn't really, like, just because you hear it's gonna cause you pain, it's gonna hurt, like it also doesn't necessarily have to, or like just because you can't just be like, oh, it hurts, that's fine, like, and move on. There are things you can do. You can get ready. You can like use it like lube. You can prepare to
foreplay.
Yeah, you can do all these things. So I think like definitely be cognizant of that, and don't just brush your discomfort onto the table as like, oh, it's meant to hurt.
Exactly.
You know,
I would maybe talk to other women and talk about their first experiences, and like look up things online. I'm sure there are a ton of resources that you can look into to sort of get a feminine perspective and like a female perspective of being like, this is a more accurate portrayal of the loss of virginity that, you know, the general media and sort of social construct of virginity has put out for decades.
100%. I also feel like the concern about being bad, firstly, I don't think anyone is like, oh, it's your first time and you're not incredible. What the fuck? But secondly, like, unless you do something mad, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think that might be, maybe it's just because I'm coming from a guy's perspective. I do think if this situation was reversed, I could entirely understand why the guy would be nervous about that, because you're probably likely to either have an issue getting it up or come too quickly or whatever.
There's a bit more social pressure for men to perform during sex, where it's like
100%.
There's like the size of your dick, how long you last. You know what I mean? Like
I don't think I've ever, like, there's no like female performance like mockery on TV as far as I'm aware.
Not really.
I
It's
don't
rare
think I've
that,
ever
like,
heard of it.
Yeah, I mean, like, fucking Missy Elliott in the early 2000s made a fucking career out of, like, belittling men's sexual experience.
So, and I think if it's the other way around and you're a guy, or if you're a girl who's going to be with a guy for the first time, I think just, like, reassure them and let them know, like, you get it, because, like, it's not going to be 1,000,000%, and, like, you also know, like, just, make your partner feel safe and comfortable, because it is, no matter how confident you are as a person, like, it is one of those scary new things that most people are pretty self-conscious about. So I think that's pretty important, just like be there for the person,
Yeah, I mean, like, you're both entering in sort of like a dicey waters, so take care of each other.
But they can be really fun fucking waters.
Absolutely.
They should be, in fact.
They should be a great time, but like it's still sort of a little nerve-wracking for everyone involved. So, like,
I think communication, be
take
clear,
care of yourself
be genuine and honest,
each other.
And just loosen up too. Like, it should be fun, and it like, don't approach it like it's a ritual or like mass or something. Like, you don't need like silence and like icon. Like, it should be fun.
It's I mean, like, treat it like a makeout session. You know what I mean? Like, and then
get your genitals to make out.
Yeah, get your fucking juicy bits, your fucking dangly and your sloppy bits.
Split her.
No.
Well, that's from the bad sex writing. I thought that's what you were referencing.
Oh, no. I mean, that was bad sex something.
Yeah. All right. Go for it.
This comes from Reddit user One Newbie Boy.
Ooh.
And he did spell boy.
B-O-I.
B-O-I.
Okay.
So I can respect this.
I'm glad we know how many of them.
The like syntax of this question is a bit wonky.
Hell yeah. Or is it just Dane being Dane?
Well, I'll let you judge. Are people taken easier to talk to?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So you see where I'm coming from? For some reason, I find it much easier to talk to a person that's already in a relationship rather than someone single. It's mostly because whenever I see a girl that's single, I start doing some dumb crap that either embarrasses me or makes everyone uncomfortable.
Like jumping off things.
Yeah, like flipping off things and smashing your head open. Whereas if someone's already in a relationship, I can just be myself without having to be flirtatious, seeing as they already have someone. Is this normal, or am I just weird?
He answered his own goddamn question.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Kind of.
He knows exactly why it's happening.
Everyone's always bewildered at like why all of a sudden you get more attention when you're in a relationship or like when you get married, and it's like, it's not the fucking ring. It's the fact that
you're not being an asshole.
Yeah, it's the fact that you are now being a more genuine version of yourself and not, for whatever reason, projecting a image of
I'm not getting nervous
like,
either, because it's like, there's no stakes in what you're doing. You're just having a chat, which is what it should be. But when you're trying to like angle for sex, or you're like up in your own head, it's not just a chat. It's you constantly like trying to fucking it's like the more you're trying, the more you're living like Dan in this like battlefield of love, where like everything is a game of like maneuvers and cross maneuvers and ambushes and secret tricks and like
I do want to be careful that we're not giving Dan too much credit.
Oh no, not at all. No credit.
We're almost equating him to Pat Benatar. So I just want to be very careful that we don't do this.
Maybe Pat Benatar was just seeing Dan from a distance, being like, "Oh, love is a battlefield." I don't know. Yeah, no, never. I will never say a good thing about Dan.
I just wanted to make sure we're not running into sort of like an unintentional equating.
No.
Yeah, I mean, like, I remember there was one day at my bar, and we were all having a drink after work, and the girls were talking about how like I had sort of like this like sexiness, and like I've never, I don't think, ever really been described that way. And I was just
I've heard
sort
a
of
lot
like,
of people describe you that way.
well, they're lying.
Nope.
But it was like interesting to hear them, and it's like, I think it's simply because I'm far more grounded in who I am and like in my confidence, and I'm not projecting as much as I used to when I was like sort of single and insecure. I'm talking about like 5 years ago when I was sort of like in my like I got all of my validation from sex with strangers kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's like as I got away from that and sort of like now that I'm in a monogamous, committed, loving relationship where I'm not like, I don't feel like I need to be validated by strangers. I think that immediately makes me more confident, which then makes me seem sexier.
Yeah. Well, I also feel like that's why a lot of people who try and practice like this, like seduction, fucking like pickup artist shit. I think that's why it usually is so awful, because it's never genuine. Yeah. It's always just this fucking weird ass, like try hard performative formula bullshit that like people read from a mile away. You're like a bad actor showing up to try out for a CW teen drama to get that sweet $35,000.
To get that sweet payday.
And like, it's something people don't. And like, I get it. I also think it's like when you're freshly out of a relationship and you're like jumping back in the dating pool. Well, you suck so hard because you're out of it, and like you try because you need to try because you're scared and nervous, and like you don't really, you know. It's one of those things that like the longer you're kind of out of a relationship, you ease back into just being like, hey, what's up? You know, and just like being fucking chill and like genuine. And yeah, it makes sense. It's like why it's easier to talk to anybody who you don't have a stake with necessarily. You know what I mean? Romantically. Yeah. Like you could talk to anybody if they're just like, you know, the dude like that you're not into.
This is the thing. It's like the advice I always give people were like, I remember like when we would go out and we would talk to like everyone. And it wasn't like a thing where it was like we only went for the hot girls or anything like that. It was like, if I remember there was a night we were sitting at Poor Boy, I think, and there was like an older dude sitting beside me, and like we had a good like hour-long chat, and then there was like another day where we had that conversation about politics with that one fucking idiot.
But like that's also like we're doing that because we like talking to people and like making new friends and like being open to experiences.
But those conversations were easy because we weren't, you know what I mean? It's like like having conversations with attractive women can be that easy.
It should be.
And I think a lot of people like miss that connection of just being like, a person is a person. If you're nervous about talking to women when you're out and about, talk to fucking strangers. Go talk to the people next to you. If it comes up,
I'm just hesitant because remember the whole 9 steps to get laid kind of said this, and it makes me sad to ever repeat their bullshit advice. But the thing is, we weren't talking to strangers because of that.
Again, I'm not telling you to talk to like everybody to like enter a flow state or whatever the fuck.
Oh no, 100%. Get in flow state and have fun. All right, fucking have fun. Have fun right now. Be wild. Be crazy. Be a roller coaster of flesh.
Oh, yeah, of emotions.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where like just if you get nervous with people, it's sort of like treat the audience as if they're in their underwear or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like the whole concept.
Yeah, just start checking her out up and down, imagining her naked.
Imagining her naked.
No.
The whole concept behind that was to like realize that the person you're talking to are just as vulnerable or is like just exactly like you.
Yeah, it's like taking down the imagined like gravitas of the situation and just being like, and that the thing, I think that's one of the best advice you could ever get about dating or talking to anyone is just like, they're people. Yeah, treat them as such.
That's the thing.
And in terms of your nerve, in terms of how you should treat them, like literally as people, like treat them as people. They're not like, I mean, like,
even if you go and talk to like the most attractive girl in the bar, she is going to appreciate, whether she's attracted to you or not, she would rather someone have a genuine conversation with her for like a minute than come up and offer to buy her a drink, or come up and tell her she's beautiful, or come up and tell her that you think she should smile more,
or come up and like grab her and
it's like
run her around the bar yelling fun.
If you guys are standing beside the bar getting a drink at the same time and you ask her how her night's going and you have like a brief 45-second chat while she gets her fucking drink and she leaves and you let her leave without doing anything, that's that's
Yeah.
a better interaction than she's probably had all night.
Oh, no, 100%. And that's like what I love is when people like they talk about other people, like people being like out of their league, or like, you know, I will bet you anything that if you talk to someone who's like out of everyone's league, like the super hot person, whatever, no one treats them like people.
Yeah.
And if you do, they'll be like, whoa, what the fuck?
They're
Which is sad and awful.
they get
but
like that sort of weird classification of like the hot one. You know what I mean? And then like all of a sudden that's all they're ever
you're the
treated
thing,
as.
right? All the guys are like either too scared to talk to you, or they're like, yo, you wanna do something tonight?
Yeah.
And all the girls are like, yo, fuck you, Becky. No, but like, it's just, I don't know. Yeah, that's 100%. Just being genuine and not being in your own head about a conversation. Of course, it's going to be easier and have better fucking results.
Yeah.
So do it.
So like treat everyone as if, just assume everyone has a significant other.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, that's probably not good advice.
No. Just like, be cool. Be cool.
Be cool. Just fucking relax.
Yeah.
All right, I think we got time for one more.
One more?
One more.
This is by you, Unclaimed Pants 21.
Okay.
Is anyone else but me fed up with our sex the first day meeting someone hookup culture? It's happened multiple times. I brought a guy into my place, cough cough, from the bar mind you, but still, and we made out on my couch and he assumed we're having sex that same night. Like what? Does that actually get them someone with other girls? Because who puts out immediately whilst not knowing literally anything about each other? A couple of guys have ghosted me after I've said I'd rather not have sex immediately. This type of thing even happened with my next door neighbor. He invited me over to smoke weed like we have done several times before, except this time he wanted to watch Netflix upstairs instead of the living room, and after a bit of laying on his bed, he thinks we could start getting touchy with me, even though we've never even flirted and been totally platonic. Also, I'm not 100%, but I think he has a girlfriend. Like, we don't even know each other's last names. What? WTF? I don't think I'm highly conservative about sex. The current hookup culture has me lost and kinda annoyed. I'm a 21-year-old female. I've recently moved out of my parents' house to come to university. I've kissed many and done other things, but only had actual P&V sex within relationships with the 5 boyfriends I've had. Do you think I'm just meeting a lot of the wrong people? Or is this a common thing everywhere that guys stay fucking around with zero manners? Has me bringing them to my place given them the wrong impression? Do people not just make out anymore?
I feel like you've set me up a landmine in which I need to carefully navigate.
Yeah, it's a question with some facets.
I think the neighbor situation is shitty. I think that, like, if you just hang out and smoke weed together and then all of a sudden he's just like, you're in a different room of my house, now it's time for me to touch you.
Yeah, well,
But that also could be a whole separate question of, like, maybe you just weren't picking up the signals and he
That's the
finally,
thing.
like,
I feel
thought it
like-
was a date and he was like, hey, you want to go to my room? And you were like, okay. And then
yeah,
he misread signals. Like,
I do think, like, anyone who is upset with you for not wanting to have sex, they suck. Anyone who's
fuck that.
angry at you or ghosts you or anything, like, I think we can all agree that in any of these cases, like, no matter what happens, your consent is never, it's always yours. So
Correct, yeah.
any of that shit, it sucks. On the other hand, I do feel like there's almost like, like if I meet a guy, like if I meet someone at a bar and take them back to mine, they're probably assuming I'm going to have sex with them,
yeah.
And yeah, I can still, like, and that, it doesn't matter for my consent later on. Like, it's still mine, it's still everyone in the situations, and just putting out the assumption or whatever, it doesn't mean shit for that. However, you can't then be surprised if someone thinks that's what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Because she doesn't seem to be annoyed as much about the people being upset about her not having sex as the people thinking that they were going to have sex, which is the opposite.
Yes.
I think. I think it's fair to assume if someone invites you back to their house, or to not assume, but to think, or maybe,
It's gonna cross anyone who, like,
Yeah,
if you meet
a
someone at a
stranger,
bar
like, come
and they're
back
like,
to
hey,
mine.
you want to come back to my place? No one in the fucking world is gonna think that you're not inviting them back for sex.
Yeah.
And again, we're not saying that you owe them sex.
No. And
That's not the situation.
that's why this
But-
is a tricky question to answer, because
Yeah.
we're going to have to spend every 2 minutes saying, so let's get out of the way now. Your consent is always
100%.
your own.
You,
No matter
you never
what
owe anyone
signals-
sex. It doesn't matter what they think or what's expected.
And even if you say, let's go back to mine and have sex, and then you get back to yours and you don't want to have sex, That's cool.
That's fine.
So let's get that out of the way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if I'm like, hey, you want to come back to mine? It's pretty, it's almost unspoken. Like, it's basically like, my place or yours, you want to come back to mine? Like,
Yeah.
It's basically like, you could subtitle that as, let's go have sex.
Yeah,
So I don't think anyone's in the wrong for assuming that or thinking that.
Because the thing is like, if you just wanted to kind of like fool around or like go home and make out or like whatever, it's like, you can kind of do that at the bar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if it's not like a crowded dance floor thing where no one's really giving a shit if you're making out, like, go to the fucking, like, bathroom stairwell, go to the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, a quiet place, and make out, and then, like, do your thing.
And even if you want to go home and do it, that's cool. But again, they're not in the wrong for thinking you want to do more.
Yeah.
Right?
Also, like, if you're like, hey, I'd like to make out with them at the bar, and then get their number, and then ask them on a date. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, don't make out with them at the bar and then invite them back to your place and then be like, you want to sleep with me?
Yeah.
Like, don't be like absolutely gobsmacked that's
and that's
what they thought was going to happen.
That's the issue here, is like, I don't think it's wrong of anyone to maybe think that that's going to happen or voice that.
Yeah.
If somebody didn't take no for an answer, then yeah, issue.
Absolutely.
But these aren't what's being brought up here. With the other thing, again, it's hard to like comment on it without like more context. But at the same time, it's like, hey, let's go get in bed and smoke weed together. That's pretty much the stoner's way of being like,
Yeah.
I feel like if you're getting in bed with someone, unless you're like super close and like friends with them, like then again, it's hard to, it's not as cut and dry, but at the same time, it is one of those kind of things where like you have to be aware of context. Mm-hmm. That you are involved in,
and the situations you put yourself in too. Where again, like,
because
I'm trying so hard not to be like it's her fault because it's not.
No.
But
and again, there's a lot of context we're missing here, right?
Yeah, there are things that happen where like if you agree to go and like get into bed with someone, there's obviously going to be connotations.
There's
to that,
massive
and there's
potential for them
be
to mix up what's happening.
Yeah, it's easy for people to cross wires and cross signals.
And again, there's nothing wrong with you getting the wrong, within reason. If someone's getting into bed with you, I think you can maybe, if you're not like heavily, massively platonic from the get-go and for a long time, assume something more is happening. And cool if they're like no. And you're like, okay, that's fine. That's an okay situation.
You go for the kiss, and they're like, "Oh, hey, sorry, man. Like that's not what I'm into." And you're just like, "Oh shit, my bad. I've read the signals wrong there." It's like, okay, that's fine. That's a very human thing to do.
Yeah. So it's not. It's one of those contextless questions to a degree. But I do feel like you can't blame people in like commonly associated situations.
It would be like texting someone at 3 a.m. and being like, "Hey, come over to my place."
Yeah,
and then you go over to their place and then being like, "Kiss, kiss, kiss, kiss." Okay, I'm gonna go to bed now.
Yeah,
like there's sort of like unspoken expectations or unspoken sort of like
exactly
process of this kind of thing where if you are going to go against the mainstream or sort of like what the cultural norm is, then like expect a little resistance.
Yeah, and like again, we're not like, how many times can I say this? I'm not going to say it because we already say it.
Yeah.
But I just mean you have to be, I guess, aware of like just things you do and places you go. Like if you go home with a bunch of dudes after a night out, they're probably going to assume it means X, and if it doesn't mean that, then you need to be aware before you do it.
Yeah.
And guys and girls, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's one of those things where like this person is either trolling people real hard online, which is not beyond possible, or just completely oblivious of social cues. And like again, I'm not gonna say it again.
Here's
We've said it a
like,
million times.
I don't understand. Like, does she then expect them to spend the night? Does she make out? Like, are you going home at last call at like 2 a.m. and bring them home, and then at like 3 a.m. you're just like, kiss, 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 kiss. Okay, bye. Like, leave. Are you expecting them to stay over? Because like, it's the waters are muddy. Dude.
Yeah, and again, like, it just like if the situation got differently, or like some of the situations still ended pretty shitly. But she seems upset, even just that they might think sex might happen.
Yeah.
I don't think that's outlandish. That's my thoughts on the matter. Also, I was going to say, like, she should be, like, forthright and, like, honest with them before they leave. But at the same time, everybody always says, we're not going to have sex.
Yeah.
And most of the time, they fucking lie. And this is what you do to people. Now people aren't going to believe the people who don't want to have sex.
Yep.
Stop it.
I know. I was going to say the same thing and be like, maybe let them know that, like, you're not going to have sex. But, like, the amount of times that people have said they don't want to have sex and then have either chastised me or
not
then,
having
like,
sex,
pressured me.
But we've also
later.
had that shit.
Yeah.
Be careful. Be careful, guys.
Just be aware of, like, cultural norms. If inviting someone back to your place carries the connotation that sex might be on the
Then
table,
you can't be upset if
don't
somebody
be upset
maybe
if
thinks about it.
someone thinks that sex is on the table.
Yeah, but if someone doesn't want to have sex, don't be a fucking asshole, because guess what? They can say that whenever they fucking want.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, they could literally say, hey, let's go have sex.
Yeah.
And by the time they're in the bed and naked and you're about to insert yourself into them and they're like, oh, you know what, I actually don't want to have sex.
Yeah.
Then
Then you put your clothes back on, you go home.
Yep.
So
Or hang out, whatever.
yeah, or
like,
hang out, whatever you
want to do.
But you know what
like,
you don't do?
What you're not
is
doing is
sex.
having sex. Yeah.
I just want to make that clear.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was a roundabout tornado.
Of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's wrap this bad boy up.
Okay. Like a E-group dick. Okay, you ready for some sex writing?
Nope. Hold on.
Oh, wait, do you want to read the stuff first?
What stuff?
So, like, thanks?
No, sex writing comes first.
Does it?
I'm already comfortable.
This is The Affairs of Others by Amy Grace Lloyd. I continued to tell her flesh of its gifts, such pleasure, gently but insistently given, even biting her earlobe with my front teeth, sweeping her hair from her face, her neck, as she cried and breathed less jaggedly, "It hurts, it hurts." I did not stop until it stopped hurting, until I heard pleasure articulated from her, her throat as open as her body, wet everywhere from tears and the coming, and I did hear it, a long, high, twisting cry, and a twisting of my arms as my fingers dove up and into the full expressive wetness of her. Hold me, here and here," she said after she came, placing one of my hands between her legs to press again, another over her breasts. Hold me tight. This was written by a lady.
Well, someone whose pen name is...
That's fair. I love how they specify my front teeth as if she's got like
Yeah. Get
like,
them molars.
like what the fuck other teeth you're gonna be able to bite an earlobe with?
I'm gonna get my wisdom teeth in this bitch.
Yeah, like, and also he's twisting her like.
I think the real takeaway here is the fact that he's just whispering at her flesh.
Yeah.
Hey, you're doing a great job. Holding all those things in.
Hey, titties, you're really good.
Well, I mean,
He continued to tell her flesh of its gifts.
Yeah.
So like,
He could just be like, "Hey, man, you're doing a great job moving blood from one place to another. You're just holding all those organs in perfectly.
oh, you don't have a shitty rose tattoo on you. Oh,
Yeah.
you're an unruined flesh sack.
You're making everything just held together. Without you, everything would just fall apart like a gross, sloppy mess.
You protect our muscles from radiation.
Yeah.
And you slightly darken as you do it.
Yeah.
Oh, you are new so often.
Someone right now is getting so hard. Or wet.
Yeah.
Or wet and hard.
Your moist flesh is fleshening.
Your fucking expressive wetness.
Well, I also love just like wet everywhere from tears and the coming. What? But also, this is real gross. And if someone says it hurts, maybe do stop. How about that?
Thank you so much for listening, friends
And users.
and users. I hope you've had as much fun as we have. And if you haven't, well, it's not our fault.
Or is it?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Thing is, unless they are drinking whiskey, I don't think they could have as much fun as we're having.
That's true.
Are
We don't know. What are they doing?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're fucking while they're listening to us. That'd be weird.
Man, that'd be so weird.
Yeah,
But I'm into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. If you have had P&V bedtime stuff, or any other type of bedtime
Yeah.
stuff, let us know. while listening to us.
You can hit us up on Twitter at FCK_buddies, or you can find us on Facebook. Don't you hit my fan. You can find us on Facebook.
Don't you hit my fan.
At facebook.com/FCK Buddies Podcast. Or you can send us an email if you have a question or query, if you need our sage advice, at fbuddiespodcast@gmail.com.
And Josh Eagle, thanks, man. You and the Harvest Cities for your song, Paper Stars.
It's Harvest City, I think. Pretty sure.
There could be more than one.
Now there's more cities.
Yep.
I
want to thank all of them, just in case.
All right. You got some Dan for us?
Josh Eagles.
Josh's
Eagles and the Harvest Cities. Dan times. Great. My favorite. I feel such shame every time I look him up on Twitter because I don't want that associated with my search history. Someone out there, when my FBI agent thinks I'm a fucking douchebag pickup artist. Dan says, new post, how to get your ex back after cheating.
God damn it, Dan. Oh, my name is Dave Miller.
And I'm Lost Bane.
And we are
ashamed of that.
And your fuck buddies.
We're not ashamed of your fuck buddies.
Unless you're fucking Dan.
True. Bye.
Bye.